Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome to Full Connection APS Tetris, which is something I've been meaning to do a video on for a while because I learned how to do it a while ago, and it is one of those things that I'm happy to say is rather straightforward once you know how to do it. Like, I probably would never have figured it out by myself through trial and error, and so I have someone to thank for this. I would like to thank LH, who on the APS Tetris long loader video I did, was kind enough to post Imgur links, which I'll be putting in the description, because a picture tells 1,000 words, and it's just very handy for describing, or showing rather, like how this particular form of Tetris works. So this is the most material efficient kind of Tetris you can do, because it is maximum amount of clips tacked onto autoloader, which means minimal amount of heavy expensive autoloaders used and maximum amount of light cheap clips used. I have been told by a reliable APS nerd sources that it's only about 5% more efficient than 3-connection Tetris, which for the purposes of keeping this video reasonably short, is done pretty much the same way. What I'm going to show you, same method you can do with 3-connection Tetris as 4. And yeah, so the way I was told how to do this is a lot like sculpting. It's very fun to do, and we might be looking at 1 meter loaders here, but this particular method just doesn't work so well with 1 meter loaders. It's just because 1 meter loaders are, they're small enough and compact enough that you can do basically all kinds of other stuff, and it doesn't work so well for compact APS setups. So if you've only got a 3x3 space, this ain't gonna work well for you, because you're better off just with well, something else pretty much. And so yeah, we're gonna build a 4-connection APS Tetris, and I will describe what we're doing as we go through it. Alrighty, so here we have a nice blank test fortress, and we want to make a APS with 4-connection Tetris. So, to start off with, do a surprising thing. Don't build a turret, build on the hull itself. And the reason for that is that we are going to be using a lot of prefabs. So to start off with, you want to make your basic little prefab, and we're just going to go with 2 meter loaders, like so, and we're going to radiate outward from there, always making sure that the kind of cones are attached to the loader, and on top of that we're going to put our inputs, because we've got 4 clips in an autoloader. That means 5 inputs, and we are going to prefab that. So prefab like so, and we're going to make a pattern. Let's go for a 9x9 turret. So we're going to place a few of these to get it just over 9 meters across. Alrighty, so that is a little line of 4-connection Tetris. Now I'm going to prefab this line and make the pattern a little bit bigger again. Alrighty, so we've got a kind of mess of APS loaders, all 4-connection Tetris, some of them falling off the end there, because I'm a blinking silly billy and forgot the edge was there. So now we draw a circle on it. So we want a 9x9 APS setup, and incidentally, hitting the backspace key to turn off connection checks is very handy with this kind of Tetris, because it means you can just faff around and do all kinds of stuff without worrying about blocks falling off. So let's do 9x9, and we might have to drop more prefabs just to be sure. Alrighty, so we got a 9x9 rough circle. Now we are going to prefab that circle and everything beneath it. So do so. So, and height of 4, there we go. We've got
prefab right there. Now we can place the turret. So we're just going to go here, place a turret, like so. Little 3-meter turret. We're just going to place a little local weapon controller right here. And I'm just going to do this. And now we've got our prefab, and I'm going to flip it upside down so that that wooden circle is at the bottom. Hopefully we can see what I'm doing here. There we go. And here is where the backspace key is very handy. So I'm just going to reforge this little circle here. I'm actually going to make it out of metal, because that's a better material for this kind of thing. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to trim off everything that falls outside of this little base here. So you're going to go around, and if it's here, you trim it off like so, and keeping the connection checks off just so we don't do something silly and just make all our stuff fall off, because that's bad. That's looking pretty good. So now, what we want to do is that we want to turn off mirror mode, and we just want to do a circuit around the edge of this and make sure that all clips are attached to the things they need to be. And we've got nothing orphaned, and if it is orphaned, get rid of it. By orphaned, I mean it's not, you get a clip that can't attach to an autoloader in the system, which is no bueno. So there we go, we've got it all neat and fitting into where we want it to go. So now, we need to join up the loaders with a gauge snake. So we're just going to, firstly, we're going to fill up these vertical lines just with cooling units for now. Just so they have something to be and something to fill in that space. You can fill that up with either gauge increases or railgun charges. So this kind of setup lends itself very well to railguns, simply because you just have space for them. Yeah, I just spotted more orphaned ones here. That is no good. Alrighty, so now we've done that, we can fill in the gaps here with recoil absorbers, which generally is something you're going to need. So now we've done that, we can place our main neck, and we can see if our APS has all the stats we wanted to, and if they're all balanced and all connected. If they are not, connect them. Alrighty, we have a functional APS gun. So now what we've got here is a nice and efficient APS setup that's very closely matched for all of its stats. It's autoloader limit, its ammo intake limit, its cooling limit, it's got fully absorbed recoil, it's not, and it didn't take that long to do, and it's just a simple formula that you can use to do whatever you like, really. So let's celebrate by shooting Marauder, because that is very important. There we go. That's some APS goodness right there. And so, you might be wondering, but BorderWise, how do you stick ejectors in there? And other fun things like that. Well, I'm glad you asked. It's pretty much exactly the same method, except a little different. So, we are going to clear off our fortress, and I'm going to show you the different prefab, and how to get to that very same result, but with ejectors this time. Alrighty, so here we have our different starting prefabs. So, we're going for a 300mm APHE firing gun with flinging 6-meter long shells, and it's got an emergency ejection defuse and an ejector at the bottom. So, this is very similar to what we did before, it's just a little bit taller, because in the mix, you stick an ejector down here, and at the top, where it's going to connect to everything else, you stick a gauge cooler, just with 2 recoil absorbers on either side of it, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inputs, and that's enough. So now, we're going to do the same trick we did before, prefab this, make a big lump out of it, and we're going to go from there. And it'll be sped up for your viewing pleasure. Same steps, exactly the same steps as before.
Okay, so now that we've done the trimming, as far as I can see at the moment anyway, I should mention that often with this particular form of Tetris, because the ejectors are occasionally going to be hanging off the sides and you're going to have to remove them and you're going to have to fiddle around with stuff, make sure with all the autoloaders on the edges that they have enough inputs, because you might need to replace some of the recoil absorbers up here with inputs to make sure that they still have enough. Right? Right. Now, on with the building. Now we say farewell to our wooden ring. You have served us well. Alrighty ho then, so we are going for a railgun right here. Now we gotta connect everything up. And I should mention that there's no way around having to fiddle around with things. This is not a... As mentioned, it's a reasonably straightforward. That doesn't mean there ain't fiddling. There is more than a little fiddling around here. Devil went down to Georgia levels of fiddling. So yeah, fiddle away we go. And this is the part where I remember that you do need batteries and battery power in order to power a railgun. So I'm just gonna place those down quickly.
So there we have it. We have a functioning, pretty well optimized railgun. And again, stats are matching up quite well. We've managed to fold enough different stuff into the actual turret well itself, so it's not a tremendous issue. We got a fair amount of recoil absorption in the turret cap, but you know what? That's kind of what happens when you make railguns. You need a lot of recoil, and we could shuffle things around a bit. We could keep fiddling for a while. We could replace some coolers, but for now we can turn off the connection checks, and all that can fall off. And I reckon we could stick some armor around this and call it finished. So we should do that. We should totally do that. So there we go. A rather hasty slapdash turret that does not have full coverage underneath it, but you get the idea. Here is how we make 4-connection Tetris, and it is absolutely lovely. This is quite not a 100% optimized, but still a pretty formidable gun. Over 74.5 rounds per minute, making an absolute mess of the Marauder, semi-penetrator rounds. Bit wasted on the Marauder, actually. We should probably have something more armored to fire at, but I will never, ever in my life get tired of shooting Marauders to pieces. It's just, it's therapeutic at this point. So yeah, that's basically 4-connection Tetris. So I highly recommend you have a look at the images that will be posted in the description. They helped me a lot just with visualizing the whole process. And follow the steps. The steps aren't... it's not super quick. It's... by your perspective, it's probably been a lot shorter, but from my perspective, it's been a roughly 45 minutes to make these 2 turrets. It's not a super fast way of doing it, but like I said before, material efficiency-wise, it's about as efficient as it gets. And if you don't care that much about 5% efficiency, 3-connection Tetris is made pretty much exactly the same way. So, once again, thank you to LH for providing handy-dandy pictures for me. Super helpful, made this video possible. And thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you'd like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell.